All right, now that we've drawn the windows and the doors, it's time to do the window and door markers. So we're going to do the little circles that you see at the tops of these windows. Let me pull this up to show you. So these little guys right here. So I've got an A, BB, BBC, and then also these 3026, just the window and door markers is what we're going to work on right now. We're going to make them attributed. So they're going to be attributed blocks. They're also going to be annotated blocks. So not only will it prompt you to fill it out when you insert that block, but it'll also scale it up based on our annotation scale that we have set down here. So the first thing that we're going to do is, let's just pull up this guy and take a look. So windows and doors, we're going to make the window tag. So we're just going to open up the block editor. We don't have one yet named window tag, so we're going to create it right there in the block editor. So and then once we get started, we'll draw a 3/16 inch diameter circle. So let me move this off to the side. We're going to make sure that your layer 0 is set current, and I'm going to go to Insert, Block Editor, and we'll call this window tag. So it's totally blank in here. I'm going to draw a circle. Start it anywhere you want. I'm going to do a 3/16 inch, Ashley, D for diameter, and then 3/16. And it's teeny tiny. I don't know if you see that little dot right there. The easiest thing to do right now is just double click your wheelie ball. It's going to do a zoom extents and make that circle just kind of take up your whole screen. That way we can see what's going on here. The next step says to place a base point into the center of the circle. So when we make a block using the create a block command, we get that little window that pops up. It's a little more obvious that we need to put a base point in there. It's easy to forget the base point when you're doing it here in the block editor. So what we're going to do is just come over here. When you're in the block editor, this palette pulls up. It's your block authoring palette. And I'm going to just click on the last one here under parameters, base point, just snap it to the center. I'm going to do something else that's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit weird, and it's not in the instructions, so you can totally ignore what I'm about to do, or you can do it because it is kind of cool. But right here, notice when it says when we're ready to insert it, we want to insert it 2 inches away from the outside of the house. So check this out. I can come in here and draw a line. I had to do some math ahead of time to figure out how long this line needs to be, but I'm going to make this line 8.5 inches long, which is crazy long, like you're going to see by the time I zoom way out. Look, it's way bigger than that circle. So 8.5 inches. I'm going to polar array around the center. I only need 4 of them. Close the array. Now that I've got these, what I'm going to do is put in a point parameter. So what's cool about this is when I get ready to insert that block, instead of just being able to insert it straight from the base point, if I put in this point parameter, I can press the control key and just tab. It's almost like tabbing from one base point to another. So I'll have the center and then 1, 2, 3, 4 other points to choose from. That might not make sense now, but when I'm done with this block, you'll see what I'm talking about, and it is really pretty sweet. So I just put in 4 points. Now the point parameter is one of the only parameters, along with the base point. It's one of the only parameters that we don't need an action associated with it. So I've just got the point parameter. I don't need these lines anymore, so definitely go delete those lines. Now I'll just zoom back in till I see this circle. I will just kind of ignore the fact that those points are drifting out there. Now the next step that I need to do is come over here and insert the attribute into the center of the circle. So I'll come in here under Insert. We're going to define attributes, and it pulls up this box right here. I'm just going with the picture that was in that slide I just showed you. So the tag is A, the prompt is window label, the default is A, uncheck where it says lock position. We're going to make this middle center, so we're going to justify it middle center, and then we're going to set our text height at 1/8 inch. it's really, really important right now is what you need to do is make this not annotative. We're going to make the block annotative. You don't want to make the text in it annotative, because by the time you bring that annotative block in, if the text and the block are both annotative, it's going to scale the block up, and then it's going to scale your text up, and you're going to have crazy big text. So uncheck this. That's very important. And this needs to be 1/8 inch. Arc text, so not an annotative text style. And that's it. Snap right here to center it. So you can see, since I chose middle center, I've got this right in place. Now that we have nothing selected, that text was not annotative, I'm going to come over here to the Home tab, click on this tiny little arrow on Properties, and under Annotative I'm going to say yes. So what that just did is it made my whole block annotative. The text inside of it is not, but the whole block itself is annotative. So I'm going to close the block editor. I think I've done everything I need to right now. Save the changes. Alright, let's try this out and see if we did it right. So I'm going to insert that window tag. So here it is, it's looking good. If I press the Control button, you can see I'm holding it by the base point, which was right in the center of the circle. If I press Control, you can see what's happening. All those extra points that I added in work kind of like base points. So I'm going to insert it here. I made it 8.5 inches long so that I could, what is that? That is an A window. I made it 8.5 inches long so that I could snap to the middle of the window itself. And it says in here that these should be they should be 2 inches. I mean, I guessed at the 8.5 inches. Let's see what this actually comes out to be. Perpendicular. Okay, so 2 3/8. I'm off by 3/8 of an inch, but it looks great. It looks great. So we're going to just go with that. Text style looks bad. Let's see. Annotate, arc text. Let me check my text style. That should be Stylus PT. There, that's better. So it's got an architectural text style here. So now I'm going to just keep inserting that same block, the window tag. Press tab. I'm going to snap to this window, and that's a B. Insert, window tag again. I'm just pressing Control. That's a B. That one's a B. One more. There it is. And that one is a C. All right, so I've got all of these guys. They're looking good. Some troubleshooting here. So things that I see happen sometimes is sometimes they come teeny, 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 tiny. They're just these itty bitty little circles. If that happens, you probably did not make your block annotative. If you see a tiny little circle with a regular size A, you probably made your text annotative, but not your entire block. So that should be flipped. The text is not annotative, the block is. If you're inserting the block and you don't see anything at all, and then you zoom way out and you've got a bunch of little window markers up here, then you forgot to set a base point on your block. So again, that extra little fancy thing that I did where I added the 8.5 inch lines and put the point markers, you totally don't have to do that. That was just me getting fancy and showing you a really cool thing that you can do with blocks, is to add in those extra base points. All right, so we're done with the window markers. I'm going to save that, and let's look and see what we need to do next. All right, next is the door tag. So I'll just move this over here. So basically what we're going to do with that door tag is we're going to make two different attributes. So I'm going to make an attribute for the 2, an attribute for the 0, and we're going to make that into a block, and that's all we're going to have to do there. So I'll come in here. Again, we're going to start off with the block editor. So I'll click on block editor. This one is called door tag. Totally blank in here. So make sure that my annotation scale down here is 1 to 1. It is. Make sure that my layer is on layer 0. It is. I'm going to define attributes. The first one, it says to make it 2. Inner feet. 2. It says to lock position. I don't know why it says lock position in here, so I'm gonna go with it, I guess. Left arc text, and then the text height 1.8. Looks good. Just set it down somewhere. Comes in tiny, so let's just zoom into it. So there's my 2. I'm going to repeat that step to get the 0. Just press, oh, well, I normally could press enter to repeat the last command, but my last command was to zoom. So I'm going to define attributes. This time I'll make it a 0. Enter inches. Make it look just like we see here. And I'm just going to put it up there. You're just going to kind of eyeball it, make it have a 2 and make it have a 0. Here's a really big thing though. So don't forget to put your base point. It's so easy to forget it on here, but you really need a base point. So just when you're doing that base point, just kind of stick it right in the middle somewhere. And that's all that we have to do on this guy right here. So we're going to save, close, and save the changes. So now when I get, oh, you know what I did not do? I did not make it, I did not make the block annotative. So let's go back in there. I'm just jumping right ahead. Door tag. So it's this guy right here. A few things that I forgot to do. I just didn't even look at the instructions. So it said insert a rotation parameter. So here we go. We're going to do a rotation parameter. Kind of select the center here, and this just defines kind of the area that it's going to rotate. Default rotation angle is going to be 0. And make the radius large enough to include both of these guys. I did that. Insert a rotation action. So you notice how I've got an exclamation mark right here that lets me know that it needs an action associated with it. So here's the rotate action. First I select the parameter, and then I select the objects. I'm just following the prompts. When I press enter, I get this guy, and the exclamation mark went away. So make sure that nothing is selected right now. And this is where we're going to come in here and make the whole entire block. Under miscellaneous, or under block, it's going to say annotative yes. So now my block is annotative. Once we've done that, close the block editor, save the changes. And now when I get ready to insert it, door tag. It's a beautiful door tag right here. So let's see how big all these doors are, what this tag needs to be. So this needs to be a 3 foot 0 inch. This one is a 2 foot 8 inch. This one is a 3 foot 0 inch. This one is 2 foot 6 inches. This one is 2 foot 0 inches. Perfect. And this one is 2 foot 6 inches. The reason we put that rotate parameter in there is so that I could rotate it to get it to fit in there. Now we might have to end up moving these out of the way. Things like notes, little notes like this, we want to make sure that no lines cross through them. And also just, anytime you have those notes, it's really important to know that this is the one thing that can move. Like you can't move your walls around notations. You can't move your walls to have things not cross through them, but you can move notes. So, I've kind of placed them where we need them, but a little bit later, if we need to move them around some more, that is totally fine. So that's it. I'm done with all of my doors, my windows, my first and second floor walls, and my door and window tags.